Guys, we're talking about the Bible being self-authenticating, that it's an axiom or demonstrates what it is by what it teaches. So whenever you get into debates with people, you're always going to get into the question of how do you know what you know? How is knowledge possible? Which is what epistemology is, the study of how we know what we know. So in order for knowledge to be possible, there has to be things that precede it, things that are preconditions in order for there to be knowledge. So in order for us to know things, there has to be some foundation upon which our consciousness, our knowledge is possible. And so what we would argue as Christians is this is our theology. Now an atheist is going to have their own, or an unbeliever of any sort is going to have their own epistemology, their own basis for what they claim to know. And so we're of course going to have to challenge that, but what our epistemology is founded on is the theology taught in the Bible, because God is omniscient, knows everything. He's omnipresent. He's everywhere. He is omnipotent. He's all powerful, but he's eternal. He has no beginning and no end. He transcends the physical world. He's not dependent upon it. He's the self-sufficient I am, and he inhabits eternity, and he doesn't change. He's immutable. He cannot change. He cannot lie. He cannot deny himself. So that's our basic theology, and that is the foundation of how knowledge is possible, because founded upon that are laws of thought, laws of science, and laws of morality. And if you reject the theology of the Bible, what we're claiming is that no unbeliever has any foundation for that. Now they want there to be like a neutral ground. Atheists assume, and unfortunately a lot of Christians assume, there's a neutral ground where we can just assume laws of thought, laws of logic, mathematical laws, laws of science, laws of morality, right and wrong. We just assume these things as if they're independent. And unbelievers want to assume that. And what we're telling you is there is no basis for them to assume that. They have no foundation in their worldview. Regardless of what their worldview is, they have no foundation for it, whereas Christians do. So don't give them the neutral territory. You don't give them any ground. It's like you're giving them tools, to attack the Christian worldview. And what we're saying is, as Christians, that the fear of the Lord is literally the beginning of knowledge, the beginning of wisdom. That you have to start with an understanding of theology, a submission to the biblical theology, in order to begin to think, to begin to make coherent calculations and judgments that are meaningful. You need the Christian worldview to start with. So there's no neutral ground. Our theology is the foundation of epistemology, how we know what we know. And if you reject the Christian theology, then you have no basis for laws. So we want to think about that, and we're going to delve into that a little bit more deeply here. So just hold on.